electoral offences, FALANA asks Nigerians to mount pressure on HoR to pass bill. Human rights lawyer FEMI FALANA SAN asked Nigerians to mount pressure on the House of Representatives for quick passage of the Electoral Offences Commission bill before it. FALANA, who was a guest on Channel's television program Politics Today on Tuesday night, made the plea while analysing the challenges before the forthcoming general elections in 2023. He decried the rate of political violence across the country, noting that it made mockery of the Nigerian democracy. FALANA advised Nigerian security agencies to stop unknown gunmen from further destroying properties and buildings belonging to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). He asked security agencies to stop issuing empty threats but appealed to them to arrest and prosecute suspected electoral offenders. In view of the reluctance of the ruling parties to allow the police to arrest and prosecute armed thugs and other criminal elements who disrupt elections in U.S. Electoral Reform Panel, had recommended the establishment of Electoral Offences Commission. In July 2021, the Senate eventually passed the Electoral Offences Commission bill, but the House of Representatives has deliberately refused to pass the bill. Therefore, Nigerians should mount pressure on the members of the House of Representatives to pass the bill and forward same to President Buhari for his assent. Unless the security forces are prepared to deal with the anti-democratic forces that are currently disrupting the democratic process, the 2023 general elections may be sabotaged to the detriment of democracy and political stability in the country, he said. Given what he just said, I mean, you've got to be realistic. I think, especially when people like Femi Falana speak, it seems like nobody is listening because, again, the solution that he is offering is left to the system alone. This electoral bill is not going to be passed. And so his suggestion is, Nigerians mount pressure, apply pressure on the House of Representatives. And will that happen? Absolutely not. Not that I'm trying to be negative, but let us be realistic. It is very unfortunate. I mean, he speaks on things like this, and it's unfortunate that his advice is literally not dependent on the system itself. I mean, who would depend on the Nigerian electoral system to give, to allow for free and fair elections, especially INEC? And it's ironic because, INEC is meant to be an independent body. And you can say it's absolutely, the opposite of that. It is very sad, to be honest. I mean, what else can you say? It is the same story again and again and again. Everything in this country is sad, and it doesn't have to be in this regard. I mean, if you look at just, the elections itself, I mean, the process of collating votes and, the rigidity, the difficulty with the electoral process. I mean, they would say this server is not working. Nigerians would take it upon themselves to stay overnight to watch votes being counted. Why? Because, of course, we cannot depend on a system like this. So it is very sad. That's the only thing that you can really say. But the fact is, how can we fix it? Fixing it, obviously, definitely comes from the people. It comes from the want and desire of the people to mount pressure and say, this is what we want. Unless we do that and move as a collective, it's not going to happen. We've got to move as a collective and think alike, or else, absolutely not. It is very shameful. I mean, it's the same. I mean, when you have the elections, that is when automatically, wow, they have brought the electoral bill. Was it early this year or last year? Where there was, I think it was this year, where, no, actually it was last year, 2021. They made a whole electoral bill, a reform electoral bill. And it's just so convenient. Why closer to elections you make a bill? Because again, there have been several attempts to pin parties, for example, like the Labour Party down, especially with how they try to gather funds from its supporters, even internationally, and of course with attempts of trying to make the Labour Party look fraudulent. The basis of that, of course, has been the electoral bill. I mean, the Electoral Act. I mean, the amended Electoral Act. So it's like, okay, you have the Electoral Act, and even if they were going to pass something like that, it would only be to the favor of those that have passed it. because we have clearly seen the Electoral Act 2021 being used as a basis for, name calling and accusations or charges, or just potential charges against parties like, for example, the Labour Party. I have not seen the Electoral Act being used as anything positive to defend a party, or, what I've seen it as is being used to attack other parties, and it's been the Labour Party alone. So what can you say? It is very sad. But again, I think more than anything, it's like, not that we don't have solutions, or that is like we can't find solutions to our problems, or we just have this idea that things will happen in the future. The future is now. And it's very sad because you have individuals like FEMI, FALANA. I mean, what more do you want? What more do you want? Someone like FEMI, FALANA is literally giving solutions and no one listens. It's the same thing with a lot of people, Kuti and other people that you'd say are prophets. Well, they didn't really do anything extra. They were just stating facts, and from the observations of Nigerian society, we're giving recommendations, but nobody listened. Why? Because we're all so distracted and focused on other things. And you know what? That distraction may just be played to the advantage of the politicians and the political parties. I mean, again, how long do we want to repeat the same thing? The conversation is boring. Let us just decide that we don't want a country. Let us decide that we don't want Nigeria to be better. And then we can actually, not waste our breath, and then we can talk about more meaningful matters. But if you decide that the standard of living is okay with you, you are happy with your country, let's just decide. Because I feel like the sluggishness as to getting things done, it's like, as a Nigerian community, I don't think we have fully learned. We are trying, and you can say we're moving in the right direction, but we're not making any changes. So let's just decide what the direction is. Not that some people are moving this way and others are moving that way. And as you have heard, they say the 2023 elections, if you don't get it right, people are making plans to literally leave. Like, 2023 elections would say a lot about the Nigerian society if we don't take it into our hands. It would literally be the last chance, in my opinion. And some people have decided that 2019 was their last chance, or 2015 was their last chance. But I think in this case, this is proof beyond reasonable doubt that if we don't make it right, or if we don't make the right decisions, or we're not as active, or what's the word, we don't take charge of these elections, it is just clear that we want to suffer. And lack of patriotism, people will probably want to go find their future elsewhere, which you can't blame them. But 2023, in simple terms, if you didn't hear anything in this video, in conclusion, 2023, you cannot get it wrong. If you do, not if you do, as a collective, individuals, you have your rights, but as a collective, if you don't get it right, that's it. People, if you don't forget to like and subscribe.